Well, here we go again. Lesson 312 is on sales tax, commission, and profit. This is Mrs. Pinato, and our standard is CC7RP3. Thank you for coming in and listening to the video today. I think it'll really help you understand a little bit about sales tax, commission, and profit. But if you have more questions, make sure you bring them into class. If you don't understand the notes, leave me a message in the note box. All right, thanks. Sales tax, by definition here, is not a vocabulary word, but you need to know the word to be able to understand the questions. So it's not a vocabulary word that you need to memorize the definition, but I do want you to know what sales tax is. So it is 8%, which is why we're studying it in ratios and percents with proportions. It's a percent of the cost of an item that's charged by the government to raise money, and then they use that money to pay for our roads and our police and education, a lot of different things that come out of the money that they need for the government to run. So sales tax is charged on a lot of items, and you can see it on your receipts in the stores. So let's try to figure out how it's calculated in the stores. We're going to find the sales tax for a pizza. It's a $10 pizza, and there's an 8% sales tax. So we are going to calculate what the tax would be, and then what the total would be of the pizza. So $10, and we're going to charge, the 8% tax rate is 0.08. Remember, if we write as a decimal. Again, you can use your calculator if you wish, but let's show our work here. 0, 8, we put a placeholder, and then 0 again, and then 0 times 1, so 0 again. Add them up, and if you move your decimal 2 places, it is 80 cents in tax. So what's the total cost of our pizza? Would be our $10 plus our 80 cents. $10.80 for the pizza. A lot of people forget to include tax when they're thinking about how much they're going to spend. So that's one example. Our second example is how much an $18 container of salsa will cost if there's an 8.25% tax rate. So let's do that one. We're going to start off with our $18. And remember, to show our tax rate, we are going to do, we're going to do 8.25, and that's a percent, and we have to move it 2 places to the left. So it ends up being 0.0825. So 0.0825. And let me zoom in a little so you can see it better now. That's a lot of decimal places. Let's calculate it. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 8 is 40. I'm going to carry my 4. And 1 times 5 is 5 plus 4 more would be 9. I'm writing small so you can see everything because we have 4 layers to do here. 2 times 0, I would put my placeholder, and then that's a 0. And 2 times 0 again is 0. And then 2 times 8 is 16. Carry my 1 this time. And 2 plus 1 is 3. And then I have my 8, so put my placeholders. I need to put 2 placeholders. And then 8 times 0 is 0. 8 times, you can see why the zeros get so confusing. 8 times 0 again is 0. But 8 times 8 is 64. So I need a 4 in there. And then my 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. So we need to, we could still do another row of zeros, but I'm going to actually add these up because the next whole row would be zeros. 6 plus 9 is 15. And the important thing to remember is to move your decimal the right number of places. So that's an 8, because 4 plus 3 is 7 plus 1 more. And then a 4 and a 1. And if you go back up to the top, I'm going to move my decimal. Altogether, 2 plus 4 is 6 places. 6 places altogether. I want you to see that so that you can see the total there. I think. Yeah, it's hard to see, but anyway. Let me do a different color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now remember, I didn't do that last row, but I want you to see what happens. It's $1 and 48 cents and a half of a penny, which we need to round off to the nearest whole penny, which would be $1.30. $1.49 in tax. You always have to round that up. So if we had had more zeros, it wouldn't have made a difference. It's still $1.49 in tax. And what's our total for the salsa? We have $18 for salsa and $1.49 for tax. And our total, if you add those two together, would be 49 cents and $19. Alright, I hope I didn't go too fast, but make sure you write that down and that you understand how tax is included. So it's a percent, but we have to move our decimal to multiply. And if we do it on a calculator, make sure you put the decimal in the right place. All right, our next topic is commission. Commission is a fee paid or a percentage of the price that you're buying something, and it's paid to a person who makes the sale. So if you work somewhere where you're selling TVs or you're selling cars or you're selling houses, you're often paid a commission. So it's an incentive for people that are in sales to be able to buy something. So if you're going to sell a house and you're going to sell it for $250,000, which is not possible in Santa Barbara, but we'll pretend that you can buy houses in other places for $250,000. The commission is 3%. Remember, we write that as 0.03 because we have to move our decimal 2 places for percent. It's always out of 100. It's always 2 places. All right, and then we're going to multiply. So let's do that. Show our work. 0, 0, 0, 0, 15. Carry the 1, and I get 7 here. And I can put my other placeholders, all my zeros here, because 0 times 250 is also 0. And I get $750,000 when you multiply 3 times 250. But remember, we have to move our decimal 2 places. So, of course, your commission isn't going to be $750,000. It's going to be a part of that $250,000, which is $7,500 in, commission. So if you sold a house for $250,000, you would make $7,500 just as a commission. A part of that sale price goes to you for selling it. All right, that's what a commission is. Our last topic is called profit. Now, when you sell something, you look at the difference between the income, the money that you make, and the expenses that you put out. And that's called profit. So there's a difference. So it's another vocabulary word. We need to understand what it is, but it's really another percent. So an example would be as if you're selling $800 worth of items, but it costs you $200 in maybe the labor and the lights to go on and the water that you use or whatever. You know, it depends on what type of business it is. But $200 in expenses. So we're going to find the difference between those two. And the difference means I'm going to subtract. So $800 minus the $200 in expenses. And then I'm going to compare it to what I sold, which is my $800. So the original amount that I sold. And if I do that, I get $600 compared to $800 in sales, which if you simplify that, equals 3/4. So you can get rid of those zeros right here. And 6 and 8 can both be divided by 2, so I get 3/4. So I'll leave it red for now. And if we know what 3/4 is, and if you think about actual quarters, that's 75% in profit. Great profit. You've made a 75% profit. That's good. Okay, you don't want to lose money, which some businesses do, especially during the pandemic right now. A lot of people are losing money and not making a profit. They're barely making what they put into some items. So number 2, last example, you'll earn 11% profit. So sometimes when you want to sell something, you want to say you're going to earn 11% of that profit on $4,962. So you want to know what your profit was? We need to multiply by 0.11. Remember, move your decimal 2 places. And 1 times 4,962 is 4,962. And then we do it again, but we have to move over 1 placeholder. And if you add those together, you get, let's see, this is 14, carry the 1. Wow, looks like a big number, 54,582, but remember we're moving our decimal 2 places here. So we have to do that down in the bottom. Move it 2 places here. And it equals $545.82. So if you were to sell $4,962 and they tell you your profit's going to be 11%, then that's what you would take home, is the $545.82. Doesn't sound quite as appealing. All right, in summary, we're learning about tax, commission, and profit, and that they're all a percent of a total or a part of the sales. So sales tax is added on as an extra cost. Commission is a part that's paid for someone that sells it. And profit is the amount that you make, a percentage that you make on total sales. So remember our standard is CC7, RP3. We're still working on ratios and proportions, and we'll relate this all together. All right, see you in class.